Hi guys, my name is Ben. I have a company called Second Dynasty and we make 3D printable starships. You're looking at Autodesk Maya, and we recently have on Kickstarter our new Mark IV Shuttle Alpha, which is a 28mm 3D printable starship that you can print at home on your own FDM 3D printer. Technically, you could also do it on a resin printer if you wanted, but it will require some extra work. And here is the latest version of the original Shuttle Alpha design, which we released in 2017. This, of course, being an updated version that we've actually unlocked with stretch goals on the Kickstarter campaign. So, my goal with this video is to just preview the Mark IV and also the Mark III-B, we're probably calling it. I haven't really settled on it 100%. But yeah, we're in Autodesk Maya. This is just not a render. This is the actual program itself, the program I used to design these starships. Compared to the original Mark III sort of space frame, the Mark IV has an alternative nose. It is the same length approximately, but just has a little bit more room in the cockpit because of the new shape. It also has weapons hardpoints on the sides. Unlike the Mark III-B here, which now does have some weapons, the original Shuttle didn't actually have any armaments. And then, of course, the main difference is that the original Mark III had these rotating engines, whereas the Mark IV has these fixed engines, although they are quite large and hefty. There are two more major features that do differ from the base ship. That is the presence of these landing gear doors, which are articulated. So if you want to remove the landing gear, you can close the doors. And previously, you needed two different printed versions for open or closed, and those are fully articulated. And then we also redesigned the ramp, which now, instead of being a print-in-place hinge ramp, which does require your printer to be tuned quite a bit, actually is in three parts there and sort of slides in and closes like so. Held kind of firmly in place, so it should stay once the floor is in the upright position without too much issue. And then the final feature that we've also built in now is the ability to put in some custom lighting. Of course, we don't sell the lighting itself, although we do have some partners that may be doing a lighting kit in the future. We've used some coin cell batteries, and I'll show that off shortly. But I thought I would start by taking off the top, because of course all of our starships are detailed inside and out. And again, it's at 28mm scale. It's approximately 1 to 59. 1 inch is the equivalent of 1.5 meters, or approximately 5 feet. So I'm just going to switch out to classic mode there, just so we can get our layers back on, and I'm going to turn off the top layer, and we get a nice little preview inside the ship. So let's switch back to expert. So the Mark IV has these the cargo bay at the back. We have taken the Mark III interior, which you can kind of see here. This is a modification of the Mark III interior, but taken up to 11. So now it's just a pure cargo bay for cargo transport. We've just increased the detail of the walls inside, so it looks interesting and makes more sense. The doors are functional and open. We have a cabin which has a water closet, bunk, and galley. And we have a spacious cockpit, which has considerably increased detail, especially, for the cockpit control schemes. The Mark III-B is a stretch goal version of our original Mark III shuttle, because one of the major improvements from the previous project is that we increased the fidelity of the shuttle by about 4 times. So the polygons here in this unmodified piece, and this is the higher fidelity version here, where we've increased where it's warranted just the number of polygons so that the printed result is going to look way less chamfered than the original. So this was a 10K stretch goal that we unlocked. We also changed the rotating engines, what I sometimes call VTOL engines, considerably. They used to just be on a peg system. Now they are print modularly. They use the same engine style as the Mark IV. They are built to take lighting if you want it to. We've increased the size of the cargo bay and increased the detail of the interior. The cabin has its armory once more, and just a small bunk and storage, and then the cockpit is more or less as it was, but it has the control scheme of the Mark IV. And of course, to the engines, we've also added 4 hard points in total. So if I turn back on the, let's go back to classic and turn on the top again, and then back to expert mode. This just gives us a larger image to work with, so there's less Maya interface that's interfering with the picture there. So the last thing I want to talk about is the lighting. So it is designed to take lighting. If we isolate the important pieces here, and I may turn off the lighting depending on the actual scene lighting, I mean in Maya. It's hard to make out here, but we've actually got room for 2 buttons here. And we have a couple of adapters here. You can kind of see what the mesh looks like when we don't have the engine cones on. They just twist into place. And then you can slot in this piece here, which is just what you would thread your light through. And this assumes like an interface to a coin cell battery with a 5mm LED globe. So yeah, this twists off, that sort of slots in, and otherwise you have this channel. Now if I split this apart, you should be able to see that the interior piece here just has all this room for wiring. The buttons go here, 2 coin cells, and then the coin cell itself is slotted into there. So this will print perfectly fine. If you don't have any intention to add a coin cell lighting system to this, no worries. But if you do want to add one back in later, you already have that functionality in place. So this is the rear. Again, what I was saying is like you have these holders like so. They just slot in like so. And then you just twist in place the actual nozzle, and the battery is being in place. You switch on the light and you get the light out the back. At the moment I haven't aligned the globe, so it's kind of hard to see, but if we take this apart with these open lock clips, you can see on the inside we have the batteries have actually been, you can barely make them out there, they've been slotted in like there and back here. The buttons are wired there, and yeah, so it's all in place and ready to go. The new Mark III, it is also designed to take some lighting. You can light all 4 engines if you want. This piece slots down here, and then we've got again a similar situation where you would put the batteries in here and rig them up so that you have the lighting coming out the back in much the same way. So let's just fix that back in place. So that is my tour of the Mark IV and the Mark IIIB. So thanks for watching.